Morning, guys. Hope y'all doing well. I wanted to go a little more into something that I had mentioned yesterday. Yesterday I talked a little bit about the astral attack, how to defend yourself from it, how to be able to identify it. And I had brought up the idea that at a certain point, you can travel and meet others on the astral plane and have meetings. And indeed, this is a reality. This is true. You can do this. At a certain point, you can even create your own temple, your own oasis on the plane. And in fact, you should. A place where you could go, a place of reverence, where you could connect to God privately, intimately. In fact, the most private and intimate space. But I wanted to add on to that. And when I wanted to add on to that, I wanted to say, there's more. In fact, if I was to meet with some people, I wouldn't choose the astral plane. Why? Why would you not choose the astral plane? Because the astral plane has a lot of astral entities that can interrupt you. I don't want to say it's dangerous, but there's more going on there on the astral plane. In fact, the astral plane is pretty much the lowest plane before you start getting to the physical plane. Yeah. I'm going to use an example. I'm going to use an example from Letters on Occult Meditation by Bailey. If I can find it. Here we go. Here's a good example. A graph. Kind of gives you a rough guide to start. You could take a screenshot, pause the video or whatever if you want to, read more. But you could see the astral is right around here. And you know where I'd want to meet? I'd want to meet up around here. I'd want to go as high as I could go if I was going to meet with some people. I would choose somewhere in the etheric realms. Around Nirvana, Buddhic, somewhere around there. As close as I can to the top. Why? Because it's safer that way. And only your risk or the chances of a dark occultist getting up there are less and less. They can't go that high. Yeah, they can't. It's one of the things they get really jealous about. So if I was going to meet somewhere, if I was going to meet with another master or an adept, I would choose somewhere in the etheric realm. That way we couldn't be interrupted by some kind of astral entity or elemental. And then the risk of any dark occultist pretending to be a light worker or a friend couldn't make it. So that would just be on my mind. And to add on to that, you're leveling up when you could get past the astral and you start getting to the mental plane. Because like I said, there's more. There's a lot more. And just how I said, you're starting to master your mind when you can lucid dream at will, right? Well, what does that tell you when you lucid dream at will? That you're at the point where you can move in the astral plane when you want. It's kind of like when you play a video game and you unlock that next level in your character, and now you can go to the next part of the map that you didn't have access to. That's got to be a good way to it. That's got to be a good analogy to it. I feel like that works. Very similar. All right, guys. Y'all have a good morning. Bye.